Allegedly, they managed to actually open the door to hell and summon a demon.
Neighbors claimed they practice witchcraft.
Exorcism, the casting out of demons through ritual prayer.
I was burying bodies out in the desert.
And yes, the ghosts were there with us.
Thank you for letting us in.
And we're back, folks. We didn't lie to you.
We didn't.
Not once did we lie last week.
Not this time.
Not this time. But maybe in the future. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But we are back. And we're
unlike your dad.
To be back. Oh, wow. Wow.
Trauma.
You had to go there, didn't you?
Trauma. Unlike your dad who went to the store to get cigarettes 18 years ago, we are back with you here.
Yes, we are.
On what? On the Haunted Heart podcast.
The Haunted Heart motherfucking podcast.
And who are we?
Well, I don't know. That depends on the day, actually.
You know, it does.
To be quite honest. Today I feel like I'm in some sort of like meeting right now, or like therapy, some sort of therapy session. Where
the icebreaker games that they make you play at the beginning of team meetings. That's basically like 90% of your job is just endless icebreaker things. When you during the pandemic, I got to witness it, and it was just endless icebreakers, and I'm like, this is his version of hell somehow.
Really
How did he end up here?
Let me name the icebreakers. What flavor of Starbucks coffee would you be? What type of Starbucks coffee?
Well, that's easy. I'd be a pumpkin spice latte. I can't take credit for that joke. I saw that on Twitter.
I was going to put that on a shirt for you.
No, please don't. I didn't even see it on Twitter. I saw a tweet that was reposted on Facebook. So super boomer of me.
So you saw a tweeter.
Saw a tweet by way of Facebook. Which is the only way I see tweets. I'm not on Twitter because it just seems really toxic. But the good stuff filters through.
What seems toxic?
Twitter.
No.
It just seems like a lot. Like,
you don't say?
Yeah.
You don't think?
Also, a bitch is not a fan of a character limit. We've been on this episode for like 10 minutes and we ain't even said our names.
2 minutes and 11 seconds, actually.
Oh, time flies.
I was going to say. Concept of time doesn't really exist on this show. We really just exist in some sort of like liminal space in between, points A and B.
In between reality and fantasy.
That's what happens when you step into this here recording studio.
It's true.
But yes, plenty of icebreakers. Hate them. Don't like them. Don't enjoy them. I'm not an icebreaker type guy.
So are you gonna introduce us this week, or are you just gonna keep rolling?
No, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm not gonna introduce us. No, my name is Kenny. I'm here.
And I'm Katie,
who is also here.
I am here in this moment with you, in this moment in time. Very happy to be sharing this space with you. For some reason, I'm feeling very much on a Delilah flow tonight. I'm just feeling like you need to reach out and love somebody tonight who is of age and consenting.
Delilah is great to listen to when you're driving down those long roads and, middle of the night. And I don't listen to her for long because not my vibe.
I tell you what, when I stopped, I used to listen. So my mother was a big fan of Delilah. So I listened to Delilah.
I love the way you say her name. But like, you never just say Delilah. You always say it.
Delilah.
Yes.
It's because that's what's happening in my brain. And I'm just trying not to do that out loud. So anyway, we used to listen to her all the time up until I went to college, actually. And then when I stopped listening to her is when my life became a fucking wreck. So maybe that was my mistake. Mm. That's when it really started backsliding.
This when it went downhill? Yeah. Downhill after Delilah?
No. Yeah.
I think there are
maybe
people
I
that
need
probably
that bitch.
Don't even know.
Is she a lesbian?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I always kind of thought she might be maybe she's bi. Maybe she's a bisexual menace.
I don't know.
I don't
Never
know.
really questioned that. There's a lot of people that don't even know who Delilah is. They're probably like,
Probably. You should look it up. Delilah loves someone tonight. Google that shit. It's going to heal you. It's going to heal
It's
you.
like chicken soup for the soul,
It
but
is.
radio and has nothing to
And
do with
she
your
used
soul.
to be a drug addict. She used to be like she used to really, really, really struggle with addiction. And then she like got herself right. And she's like, so she knows. The thing about Delilah is like when that bitch tells you something, like you can trust her. Like she be knowing. She ain't all sunshine and rainbows.
Mm-mm.
And I respect that.
You're going to catch me in some meeting like about 10 years from now. I too used to be a podcaster. I too know the struggle. But anyway, we are here. We are so excited to be here with you this evening. And we have 2 new people joining our table with
We
us.
do.
Our round table.
We do. I realized on the last episode, our first episode back after hiatus, I realized we didn't explain our ritual of lighting the candles for any new listeners who may have stumbled across this podcast in the past several months. And so I wanted to take a minute to do that now for folks who have forgotten or for folks who are new. So this process that we go through, this ritual, if you will, of lighting these candles, we light candles for our new Patreon members, our new Patreon subscribers. And these candles have been dressed with good intentions for health, wealth, happiness, all good vibes coming your way. So as we light these candles, we are doing what is called an invocation. So we are invoking the spirit of the person who we're welcoming into the community, and we are sending their way all sorts of good vibes. And it's just a nice little thing that we like to do when we have folks kind of join the fam.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to kind of give a little context in case you guys were like, are they lighting a blunt? Like, what's happening? Like, I just hear like strike pad and then like burning. We're lighting candles. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And we're doing an invocation.
Absolutely.
So am I going to kick it off then?
Sure. I mean, you can kick it right on off.
I will. I will kick it.
Start us off.
I will. I'm real good at it. I am welcoming the lovely, the inimitable Nancy C., who is a brand new Cannibal Cult member.
And I am welcoming Ash W., who is a member of our Haunted Heart Harem.
All right, your candles are lit and they will burn beside our mic stands at least through the end of the episode. But, of course, figuratively, emotionally, metaphysically, electrically, always and forever in our dark.
That was a lot.
Yeah, I got on an adverb kick there.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining. And if you are interested in joining the Patreon and receiving your own invocation, you can check us out. We have a bunch of different tiers up there to suit whatever it is that you would like. We have plenty of things in there that would tickle your fancy. Lots of bonus content and all kinds of cool shit.
We do that. We got some Netflix and kill for you. We got some spooky smut for you. If you're into that, definitely not safe for work. Do not listen to spooky smut at work. Don't listen to it at work. It's gonna fuck with you.
Who'd have thought the spooky smut not safe for work?
Definitely not. I mean, well, you might think that you can get through it. You're not going to be able to. I promise you that.
Yeah, we barely got through it.
I mean, truly.
But I brought us back last week with my story on MK Ultra. So it is my turn to sit back and have a story told to me.
I thought you were about to be like, it is my turn to sit back and relax. I brought this LSD this week. We're going to just kind of kick back. Chill hard.
By the way, still haven't heard back from the CIA.
Oh, okay, good.
I've checked my spam folder.
I guess they figured like geographically you're pretty close. So they'll just kind of keep an eye. They'll drive by a couple times a day. just check things out.
Yeah. I'm still waiting.
Yeah, that'd be cool though. We could have the CIA guy as special guest on the podcast. Light a candle for him.
Oh, they already are.
They're like, no, we're here now.
Yeah. No, we're actually here.
Shody wish y'all would help with some cold opens or something. I mean, help a sister out.
For real.
Go ahead and schedule some content, please. Thank you.
Yep. Get
Handle
on there,
some admin.
schedule it out. Yeah. I mean, feel free to log into my computer, get it uploaded.
Go
like,
for it.
just go for it.
Anyway. So last week correct, you did bring us back. We talked about MK Ultra. We talked about government sanctioned weird LSD testing that was non-consensual. It was real icky. It was not great. This week I kind of thought, I mean, we're also going to talk about something icky and not great because hello, it is this podcast. It's really not great. But I wanted to kind of take us back a little bit to our roots a little bit. We're going to cover a true crime case.
Yes, always the ever popular. And I'm excited. I'm excited for this.
Yes.
It's been a minute since you've told me a true crime case.
It's been a while, and I'm itching to guide you through one. So here we go. This one actually, interestingly, I know that MK Ultra was actually recommended by a couple people, but Emily from our Patreon and our Facebook group had recommended that one. This topic was also recommended by somebody, but I can't remember who it was. Somebody emailed forever ago, and it had actually been a case that was on my radar for a while. It's relatively well known in true crime circles, but it's a very interesting case. And I'm sorry, whoever emailed. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name.
Fuck you, I guess.
If I can find it, I will shout you out next week, not last week. That would be very difficult. But yes, so this was also a listener recommendation, I suppose.
Sweet. Love that. Love when you guys send us recs.
I mean, please do. If there's a topic you'd like us to talk about, please email us, thehauntedheartpodcast@gmail.com. That is why we have an email, not just for spam email that we get a lot of. Anyway, you ready?
Yeah, I'm
ready.
ready.
To dive
I'm
in?
ready. I'm ready. I'm in my chair. I'm, sitting comfortably. I've got our candles right here of our invokees.
Yes.
You're sitting beside me, and we're all ready.
All right. Well, let's get started then. Delphi, Indiana. Nestled right in the heart of the state, about 20 minutes northeast from Lafayette. It's a small town with just under 3,000 people as of 2010. Founded in 1828, Delphi was named after the famed ancient city in Greece, which housed the Oracle of Delphi. It's to Delphi that Greece's rulers would travel to consult with the Pythia, the high priestess of the Temple of Apollo, who would advise them on the god's feelings of matters of state, whether or not to engage in trade or war with other nations, where new Greek colonies should be founded, and other such important matters. From behind the veil, quite literally represented as a curtain, the Pythia would dictate the truth of the gods to her audience. It is fitting, somehow, that this week's story takes place in a place called Delphi. Granted, this is not the Delphi of old, but a new version, a reimagining. Oracles like that of Delphi remind us what is knowable and what is unknowable, what is on our side of the veil, and what is on the other side. Today's story is full of darkness. And it's also full of the unknown. There are lots of questions and precious few answers. If only the oracle herself could pull back the veil. But until then, you're stuck with me. I'll do my best.
You keep saying the Oracle, and I keep thinking of that lady from The Matrix.
Yeah, very that.
Very that?
That, but like ancient Greece.
Got it. Delphi, Indiana. Never been to Indiana. Not once.
I went to Indianapolis one time. I stayed in my hotel room and I ordered sushi. And I watched an Avengers movie and I fell asleep sad. Not because I was in Indianapolis, but I was like weird and lonely. You really shouldn't send me to other places by myself because I just get like really melancholy and weird. I'm like, I'm the only girl in the world and nobody loves me. I don't know why I'm like that.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's weird. All right. So
Yes, Oracle Lady.
at 1:35 p.m. on Monday, February 13th, 2017, 13-year-old Abigail, Abby for short, Williams, and 14-year-old Liberty Rose Lynn German, Libby, were dropped off by Libby's older sister, Kelsey, on County Road 300 North, just east of the Hoosier Heartland Highway. The girls were hiking on the Monon High Bridge over Deer Creek, among the woodland in the remote Deer Creek Township. The Monon High Bridge is something of a landmark for this part of Indiana. It was originally built in the 1890s as part of the Monon Rail Line. Now, the bridge crosses over Deer Creek about 60 feet up from the water. It's Indiana's second longest and third highest railroad bridge. The last train bustled across the line sometime during the 1980s, and the bridge has been sitting still and somewhat forgotten ever since. As you can imagine, a railroad bridge that was last used in the 1980s can fall into some pretty significant disrepair over 35 plus years.
I'll say, I know that.
It hurts me to do that math.
Yeah. Yep.
We have fallen into significant disrepair.
Yeah, I mean, being of 30 plus years of age from the 80s, hailing from the 80s myself, the late 80s, I am in significant disrepair.
I mean, basically decrepit.
Basically, yes. If you looked inside, it would be exactly like one of those bridges that you would see. There's cracks everywhere. There's Mother Nature and growth has started to, overtake everything. And there's like some really bad graffiti that's been there from really bad, poor decisions, early in life. And they're not going away. They're there inside of you forever and always, just sort of tainted.
That's part of the magic of being alive. Moving on.
Beautiful.
So by the time Abby Williams and Libby German were crossing that bridge in the winter of 2017, the bridge was something of a modern ruin. There were loose boards and rickety places where simply shifting your weight could cause the bridge to sway in an uncomfortable way. The worst part, though, the part everyone seemed to mention, was how long and winding the bridge was, stretching out like some kind of unnatural man-made aberration in the forest, bending through the trees to an unseen end point. Folks have said in interviews that there's been quite a few points on the bridge where, when looking forward, you start to believe it doesn't even have an end point. I mean, sure, naturally, one would logically assume that a bridge, all bridges, would have to have an endpoint, right? But somehow in the stillness of the forest, standing on that bridge and seeing how it disappears around the bend, folks seem to question whether the rules of logic even apply anymore.
I already have an issue with bridges anyway, so.
Oh, I want to go see this one. I don't think they let you on it anymore.
I don't like going across bridges. They give me, I don't know. They give me the heebie-jeebies.
Makes you nervous?
Yeah. Make me really nervous.
So, it was on this bridge that Abby Williams and Libby German found themselves at 2:07 p.m. that fateful day in February. Libby posted a photo of Abby walking along the bridge. This was the last time either of the girls were ever heard from. At 5:30 p.m., Libby's father reported them missing after they failed to meet him at their agreed-upon pickup location at 3:15 p.m. Both families initially searched the area for the girls on their own before calling the police. Authorities who searched the area did not initially suspect foul play in the disappearance. This changed, however, when the girls' bodies were found around noon the next day on February 14th, about a half mile east of the abandoned Monon High Bridge on the north bank of Deer Creek. To this day, police have not released many details regarding the girls' manner of death. As early as February 15th, 2017, the day after the girls' bodies were found, Indiana State Police began circulating a still image of an individual reportedly seen on the Monon High Bridge Trail near where the two friends were murdered. The grainy photograph appears to capture a Caucasian male, hands in pockets, walking on the rail bridge, head down, directly toward the girls. A few days later, the person in the photograph was named the prime suspect in the double homicide. On February 22nd, law enforcement released an audio recording in which the voice of the suspect, though fairly muffled, is thought to be heard to say, "down the hill." It was at this news conference that officials credited the source of the video clip, as well as the earlier photograph of the suspect, to Libby German's smartphone.
Because she was taking pictures.
Apparently, our girl Libby had the uncanny foresight to record the exchange in secret, perhaps without the man even knowing that he was being recorded. Police indicated that additional evidence from the phone had been secured, but they did not release it so as to not compromise the future trial. By this time, the reward offered in the case was set at $41,000. On July 17th, officers distributed a composite sketch of someone who, at the time of the investigation, was sought as a person of prime interest in the murders. It had apparently been drawn by police from eyewitnesses who recalled a certain hiker frequently found on the Delphi historic trails who was spotted there on the day the girls vanished. And then the case went cold.
And that's it?
Until April 19th of 2019. When Indiana State Police announced, so almost 2 years later, Indiana State Police announced that they were taking things in a new direction. For the first time in nearly 2 years, Superintendent Doug Carter released new information in the case on April 22nd, 2019. The new materials included a short video recording in which the blue-jeaned and jacketed suspect is seen lurching along the rail bridge for a little over a second. The video is chilling. The man moves, and I watched this video, I've seen it. He moves unnaturally, but with really strong conviction, as if being pulled along by an unseen force. Superintendent Carter suggested that because of the severely deteriorated condition of the bridge, the suspect may not be walking naturally due to the spacing between the ties. But to watch, just to watch the video, it's super, it's really creepy because he's when I say lurching, he is
Actually,
quite literally lurching.
Quite literally lurching. So this is from video footage that Libby took on her phone.
Yes.
That she had.
Yes.
So she had been talking, or I guess had some sort of communication, or they had, I don't know. To me, it just seems like, who is this strange man? And he's quite literally, as you say, lurching about. It seems to be like they might have been, I don't know. I don't want to say calm, but were there any signs that they were other than the obvious, that they were recording, but was there any verbal, signs that they were in distress, or that they were afraid or scared, or any of that?
It's difficult to tell because the way that it is filmed, it's almost like she's trying to film it low key, right? She's not trying to draw attention to it. So it's not like we're all friends and we're hanging out and it's fine that I'm recording you. It reads as I'm recording you because I feel like something might be about to happen. That's kind of how it reads.
Got it.
So they also, in addition to releasing this clip, they also updated the sketch of the suspect. So they unveiled a completely new sketch, as well as an extended version of the original audio recording, in which a slight rise in the suspect's voice can be detected as he utters the word "guys" before the phrase "down the hill." And it was further explained that the previously released sketch showing an older man with a goatee and cap is now considered secondary. By contrast, the clean-shaven individual shown in the newly revised composite is now being regarded as the primary sketch of the police's prime suspect. So police say that their suspect may range from age 18 to 40, but they also caution that his youthful appearance could make him look younger than his true age. Investigators revealed that they have reason to believe that the suspect might well be hiding in plain sight, and that the person is almost certainly familiar with the area of Delphi, whether it be from living or working there or for another reason. Law enforcement reached out to the public, urging everybody to look at the sketch, listen to the audio, and watch how the man walks on the bridge and send tips. So these renewed efforts by the police seem to have resulted in a rash of suspects, unfortunately, none of which have been convicted of the murders. So on July 23rd, 2019, a couple months after they released the new information, Paul Etter was identified as a potential suspect. Etter was wanted for the kidnapping and rape of a 26-year-old woman on June 22nd in nearby Tippecanoe County. 5 days later, Etter was surrounded by the police, and after a 5-hour standoff, he died by suicide.
Shit.
Daniel J. Nations, a registered sex offender from Indiana, was arrested in Woodland Park, Colorado in September 2017, and he was charged with threatening strangers on a monument trail with a hatchet. I mean, not to make light, but if you've ever driven the Capitol Beltway on a weekday, I could see it.
Yeah. Just keep your hatchets at home.
Yeah, just don't put one in the car. If you have a rough commute, don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, no.
Don't do that to other people. Just, we're all just out here trying to live.
Yeah. Although some people are assholes on the road.
That's true.
And I feel like that is their only intention, is to just be an asshole on the road.
Don't I know it? Tell me about it, buddy. Who are we? Is this the traffic hour?
Welcome to the traffic cone.
So essentially, this guy, Daniel Nations, he was driving around with expired plates, and the police noticed that. So they pulled him over and then later discovered they had an outstanding warrant under his name. Fanning public speculation even further, it was reported that a bicyclist had been fatally shot on the same trail at around the same time that Nations was purportedly terrifying passersby with the hatchet sort of moment. So they were like, maybe. An El Paso County Sheriff's spokesman told reporters that however many similarities there were between the cases, he was not at liberty to disclose them since Indiana investigators did not want any more information released. On January 5th, 2018, Nations was sentenced to 3 years of probation for threatening members of the public in Colorado. However, he was not released since he had an active warrant out on him back in Indiana. On January 24th, Nations was transferred to Indiana officials' custody on an unrelated charge, failure to register as a sex offender. So he had a lot going on.
I was going to say, this guy's got a lot. He's got a rap sheet on him.
Yeah. In early February 2018, authorities said, though, that Nations was no longer considered an active person of interest in the Delphi murders, and no further details on that were released. So, he's a piece of shit, but he's not like our piece of shit, is essentially what they said.
Got it. He's not the piece of shit related to the story.
Yes.
Interesting.
Assorted shit. So then we have Thomas Bruce, who formerly worked as a pastor. Now, he had been charged with fatally shooting one woman and sexually harassing 2 other women.
Damn.
What preacher hasn't?
Honestly.
So after he did that after he had ordered them at gunpoint into the back room of a suburban St. Louis shop for religious supplies.
What?
Yeah. So apparently, I don't know if they worked at the store or if they were shopping in the store, but he forced them to go into the back of the shop, shot one, sexually assaulted 2 other women.
What are religious supplies?
Like Bibles.
Bibles?
Bibles and bookmarks and like coffee mugs, I think. With yeah.
Oh, like so one of those little like those Christian bookstores.
Yes,
so they call them.
Yeah, I think that's
Religious supplies. That just, I don't know.
Could mean different things to different people. Huh?
Yeah, I feel like it could. Yeah.
I think my religious supply store would be quite different.
I bet it would.
Personally.
I bet it would.
It's full of vibrators everywhere.
Yes.
Anyway. So that crime was actually committed in broad daylight on November 19th of 2018. And obviously that crime kind of put this guy, Thomas Bruce, in the spotlight of the press. Some noted that he was of similar stature, about 5'7" to 5'9" to the then current suspect description in the Delphi slayings. Because remember, this is before they had updated it to the younger guy.
Yeah.
And released that additional footage. Also, he wore a flat cap and a navy jacket during the attack, which was very similar to what the suspect in the Delphi case was wearing in the video clips. Indiana State Police did look into his possible connection in November, but on December 4th, Bruce was charged with no fewer than 17 felony counts related to the St. Louis case, and they said he could receive the death penalty. But ultimately, that didn't quite pan out, connecting him to the Delphi case, that is.
So again, still a piece of shit, but not potentially the piece
not
of shit
the
we're
correct.
looking for.
Right. Yep.
Damn.
So
Just
then
seem to be getting everybody.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But-
Alarmed for the heartland of America. Alarmed that there's, this many people to choose from.
So many.
Alarmed.
Seem
Worried
to be
about
getting
our society.
everybody else.
Yeah. So then you've got this guy, Charles Eldridge. So he was arrested
His
on
name's Charles.
January.
He definitely did it.
He was arrested on January 8th, 2019 in Union City, Indiana on charges of child molestation and child solicitation. So police in Randolph County alerted the FBI to a potential leak between Eldridge and the Delphi murders on account of his strong resemblance to the suspect sketch. This was, however, before the updated composite that had been released. And so I think when they released the additional video footage and the updated composite, they kind of ruled Eldridge out, more or less.
Well, damn.
Mm-hmm. And then lastly,
Another motherfucker.
2 months ago.
Oh, shit.
2
months ago.
months
we
ago.
were not here.
No. Actually, it was only 1 month ago, like when I wrote this episode. April 27th, 2021. Indiana State Police detectives named James Bryan Chadwell II as a new person of interest in the Delphi murders. Chadwell, who has an alleged history of drunk driving and violence, was arrested in April after a 9-year-old missing girl was found naked and covered in dog bites in his basement in nearby Lafayette, Indiana.
Oh, no. Oh.
Chadwell's brother Ashley said of him, quote, "He's always been out to hurt people. He wants to break bones and knock teeth out."
What the fuck?
End quote.
What the fuck?
So Chadwell is currently in jail awaiting trial on the attempted murder, kidnapping, strangulation, and child molestation charges. Police are continuing to investigate the very real possibility that Chadwell could be Abby Williams and Libby German's killer.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, but originally you said they didn't really release a lot about how they died or if there was like a murder weapon or
No, they
any
haven't
of
really.
that.
They haven't really talked about that.
So there's there's nothing to really go on based on that part.
Yeah,
of it.
these guys are not doing the release all of the details and like see what sticks. These guys are doing we're going to keep some details so that when we take this to trial, we can get the guy. So they're not they're trying to be really careful about what they release and what they don't because they don't want to fuck themselves out of a case, basically.
And I suppose that's all situational on how, it's handled. But, you see some cases, I guess, where kind of everything's out and some where it's really quiet like that. And so it's interesting to see how they can pan out depending on the situation.
How they
what's
make the
going
call.
on.
Yeah. I think it is an important job that police and investigators have to kind of keep that line of how much information do we give people so that we can find the person, but what information do we keep so that we can make sure when we do find them, we can try them and put them away forever and ever because of this. So that's sort of where the investigation stands as of right now. Meanwhile, the Delphi community has found ways to remember and honor the girl's memory. In August of 2017, the Williams and German families announced their plan to build a sports complex for Delphi in memory of the girls. It was called L&A Park Foundation, and it's a nonprofit, obviously, and it was formed to, quote, "celebrate and commemorate the lives of Libby German and Abby Williams by creating a place for the appreciation of nature, art, play, and athleticism for generations to come." End quote.
That's sweet.
Another site was procured about a mile north of Delphi, and in the years following the girls' deaths, continued progress has been made in the development of Abby and Libby Memorial Park. Just last year, in 2020, the L&A Park Foundation was named a recipient of the NBA All-Star 2021 Legacy Grant. So that's coming along.
Cool.
More touching still has been the countless homeowners across the central Indiana area who have installed orange lights on their front porches in response to a request from Libby German's mother. Lights are meant to commemorate the girls, as well as to serve as a haunting reminder that their murderer remains at large.
Mm.
And that is the image I want to leave you with for this case. Hundreds of thousands of orange lights burning in the darkness, lighting up the night, like the truth of Apollo's oracle. See, the thing about the truth is, it always comes to light eventually. And I'd say Delphi is due for a reckoning.
Amen. Wow. What a crazy story.
Yeah. For me, this is one of those cases that, I mean, I hate all cases involving children, but this one sort of hits really close to home because like both of us grew up in a rural area and we did shit like this. Like we would go downtown and we would go to like the fucking park or wherever and we would play on, like, when I looked at this bridge, like, yes, it is really creepy and it's like haunting and like chilling, but it's different when you're a kid. And it just read to me so clearly as like, and it kind of was for kids, you know, at the time. It was sort of like a bravery thing. Like, can you walk all the way across the bridge? Like, and it was just this sort of like thing that everybody knew about. Right.
Yeah.
And so I could see, because of, you know, where we grew up and all the shit that we used to get into, like I could see that being us being in a place like that. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the video footage, I have to, like, I cannot emphasize enough how chilling the video footage is. It's very scary. It like the movement, and it probably is because the bridge is deteriorated and all that stuff, but like it is monstrous. Like it looks like a creature like coming out of the darkness, like a nightmarish type figure. I mean, like, you know, it's a person, but it's like the movement is just really strange.
And they weren't able to like catch any details in the face from that, or like
they weren't, because the person is too far away. You can see a figure, but you can't really make out a lot. I think they worked with the footage a lot to try to get what details they could, but the movement is really the most defining feature, I think, which is why they emphasize that so much.
Yeah, I totally I get what you're saying with the whole, like, you know, that's shit that we used to do. I mean, even shit still to this day
kind of still
we'll still love to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's something about like old abandoned places just really like attracts me to it. So there's always that like feeling in the back of your mind that's like, oh, you know, what if I stumble across someone, you know, and they're here, and you kind of laugh it off and joke it off. But, you know, it's important to realize, I mean, you know, quite clearly that can happen, right? Like you can sort of be in the wrong place at the wrong time, you know, and it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you can only imagine what's going through their minds. And thankfully, you know, Libby was able to sort of, you know, pull her phone out and get what sort of evidence
she could,
that, you know, that she could.
I mean, it was smart. It was, you know, she was thinking on her feet. So, and it may well be in the end what does catch her killer.
Right.
This has been a really heated, I'm sure that a lot of our listeners know about this case. It has been a very heated case. It's been something that's been looked at very closely in true crime circles. It's sort of like one of those that's like very much, it's a cold case, but it's very much warm today. You know, people are looking into it and they're researching, and, you know, investigative like journalists, I think, have picked it up. So I think that we will probably have a conclusion in that case at some point in time. I kind of think it's coming.
Which is interesting for us. You know, a lot of the, you know, stories and stuff that we cover, especially if they're, you know, further in the past or what have you, you know, they're eventually solved by the time that we, you know, we talk about them, I guess, or, you know, they're just kind of left cold and in the past. But I mean, this is, you know, very much in the present. So it'll be interesting to sort of follow this, because this is my first time hearing of it. But it'll be interesting to sort of keep up with that to see if anything comes with this new
Yeah.
you know, with this new scumbag that they've got. This new piece of shit.
The newest. And
The latest piece of shit. And a line of piece of shits in the heartland of America.
Not to shit on Indiana, though. The sushi I had while I was in your state was delicious.
Every time I think of Indiana, I can only think of Stranger Things. Hawkins, Indiana. That's all I can think about. Sorry about it, Indiana. But it is what it is.
I mean, they might not be offended to be associated with Stranger Things.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I
Probably
would be
better
if
that.
I was from Indiana. But I'm not, so I really can't answer that. Where is Indiana, by the way? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, God.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, God. Is that to be a geography podcast?
We've been an everything podcast, okay?
True.
We've been a traffic
An
podcast.
everything podcast, a nothing podcast as
everything.
well. So, you know.
We, too, walk the tracks amongst a train.
But they won't let us stop. They
going.
won't let us stop.
No,
They're
won't.
like,
They
we
won't.
will come to your homes and we will come inside your homes and we will drag you into the streets and we will make you
I'm talking.
give us this content.
I'm talking direct messages. Where are you?
No.
I'm fairly certain I had a phone call from someone because I didn't recognize. I was like, why is someone from like middle of fucking nowhere calling me? Not Indiana.
Indiana wants a word with you. They
Indiana
fucking mad.
is calling me.
Yeah.
I pick up the phone and it's just Indiana.
Miss Indiana.
Miss Indiana. Lady Indiana.
Anyway, no, it's great to be back with you guys. It's good to be, it's good to be scratching the true crime itch. It's good to kind of chit chat. I did miss, our candlelit table and our circle of confidence, our circle of macabre topics and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So hopefully we can continue on next week. We will see you here.
Next week. It's my turn again.
We'll see.
So,
maybe if I release this mic.
It'll be my turn again. So who knows what I'll be bringing to your ear.
Truly, who knows? We don't.
I don't.
All right. Don't you have some housekeeping to do, sir?
Oh, yeah. I guess I do have to do
I need to get you a
housekeeping.
broom?
Yes, witch mother, hand me the broom. Thank you. So you've heard about Patreon at the top of the episode, but you're going to hear about it again. Go to patreon.com/thehauntedheart if you want all kinds of exclusive bonus content for your ear holes, things that you could listen to between now and whenever we release again. Just kidding. Maybe not. Next week, hopefully. We'll see. Anyway.
Next week.
So yes, you can also find us on Twitter, that damn character limit. Twitter, is it Twitter, the tweet bird, twitter.com/thehauntedheart. That's where you can find us at the haunted heart. You can add us, send us a DM. Can't guarantee that we'll see it because we're rarely on Twitter, but you can do that if you wish. Facebook.com, the Haunted Heart Podcast. We've got a page there that you can like.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that you can like, I mean you absolutely get your fucking ass on there right now. You get on your phone, because I know you're on your fucking phone because you're listening to this piece of shit show right now. You switch apps right now, and you go to Facebook, and you find us, and you like us there. And also on Facebook, you can find our secret society of haunted heart people on our private Facebook group. That's also the Haunted Heart Podcast, right?
Yes. But it's
absolutely. You can request to join a member of our Murder Mod Squad or
maybe us ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we be in there.
We'll approve you to join as long as you're not some creepy piece of shit from Indiana.
Yeah. Or anywhere else.
Or anywhere else. Yeah. But yeah, just
Good
don't be
vibes
creepy.
only.
Good vibes only. Exactly. And yeah, if you want to leave us a review, we always appreciate those. We occasionally read them on the air. I personally love to read them on the air.
Mm-hmm.
On the air? Are we technically on the air?
Yes, I would say so.
I didn't know if that was like a live thing, but
around the air.
Yeah, you know what.
Throughout the air.
Leave us a review. 5-star reviews make us all hot and bothered.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that's all of the housekeeping.
It
If I'm
is.
not mistaken.
It is.
Did I
I
do
don't see any
good?
cobwebs. Yes. Well done. Gold star for you today.
I-
No beatings for
a
you
5-star.
today and an extra serving of gruel.
Of porridge.
Yes. Yes.
You know I love my porridge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Keeps you regular. You eat it every day.
Keeps me
Anyway.
regulated, absolutely. And there's
It's-
another thing.
Oh, okay.
No.
What's the other thing?
Oh, I was just going to go into the sign off because, it keeps you regulated.
Oh, okay. I was. The handoff there was a little messy, huh?
It was. Listen, don't judge us. We're still rusty.
Mm-hmm.
But remember to always
Stay spooky.